So Supercell responded. Specifically, Ilka, the CEO of Supercell, responded to all of the uproar or recognition of things that are going on with the Jynxzi Clash Royale situation. And he responded and edited his blog post. If you guys saw my last video on this, I talked about this initial blog post. And I said that my experiences with Ilka were great. I met him a couple times, probably 8 to 10 years ago, and all of my conversations with him were great. They felt very personal. It didn't feel like I was talking to the owner of a multi-billion-dollar company. He felt invested in me. There was genuine eye contact and care. And so when the initial post came out, I felt like what happened was he wasn't informed by people that he put in positions about things that were going on. Obviously, the CEO of a big company isn't going to be deeply hands-on in everything. He's going to hire people that he trusts to do that sort of stuff. And that's honestly one of the joys of being a CEO of a company like this, is as it gets bigger, you have the ability to oversee things and to build relationships with people you trust to oversee things below you. And what I think happened as he was in meetings with Clash Royale team and all that kind of stuff, I think that the conversations probably didn't really go deep into what Jynxzi was doing for the game. I imagine it was very data driven, and they genuinely thought, maybe, I mean, it seems kind of crazy, but they genuinely thought that some of the events in the game were doing stuff. And so, like I said in the first one, I don't think that Ilka ever meant any sort of negativity towards creators. Like I said, my experiences with him were always great. And so he posted this addition to the blog post published on the 12th of February. So he said, since the blog post was posted on the 10th of February, I've seen the reaction to the Clash Royale section, and I want to address it directly. In short, I failed to acknowledge the role that creators, pro players, and the broader community played in Clash Royale's resurgence. Good. That was my mistake, no one else's. And it runs counter to everything I believe about the impact creators have on our games and our business. I am sorry. I believe that that statement is incredibly true. I do think that saying that was my mistake and no one else's is kind of taking responsibility when maybe you shouldn't. As the CEO of the company, yes, everything that happens at that company is your responsibility, because you have hired people who hire people, and it all goes up to you. But at the same time, as kind as this is, I think you also, and he probably wouldn't do this publicly, but I hope that there are some conversations going on in a private manner, which they should be private. All of this stuff doesn't need to be public. This can be a public statement, which I appreciate. But I do think there needs to be responsibility for all of this stuff, because if the team genuinely believes that the majority of the success of Clash Royale over the last 6 months or so is on them, then we can go ahead and predict the future and say, okay, they're going to continue doing the same things, and if no other big creator comes back and plays the game, which is not going to happen, at least at this point, then the game is going to continue on the trajectory that it is. And so while I appreciate him recognizing that it is his responsibility, it can also be somebody else's responsibility. It can also be people on the team's responsibility. Now, they're human beings who make mistakes and who can be forgetful and all of this kind of stuff. So I don't think that everyone on the team needs to come out and apologize. I think that there could maybe be some DMs that could be sent to where they say, hey, I saw what happened. I want you to know that we did not, like, we're sorry, like heartfelt stuff. I think that that's good. I don't think that everything needs to be public, even though I know a lot of the community wants it to be something that it doesn't need to be. That isn't necessary. And honestly, I don't think that that's helpful. I think that the relationship with Jynxzi needs to be approached on a personal level, because that way it will feel more personal. It will be more genuine than some sort of public PR statement. He goes on to say, and it runs counter to everything I believe about the impact creators have on our games and our business. I am sorry. I fully believe this. Like I said, my experiences with him, the first time that I met him, he saw me from across the room, and I was kind of fanboying because I was like, whoa, what? That's freaking Ilka. And he came over, knew my name. I had never met him before, and asked how I was doing and like spoke to me directly. I felt valued. I felt like he recognized my importance. And so I genuinely believe this from my own experience. If I were to testify in court and be a witness, I would say this is a true statement. He goes on to say, the intent was never to diminish anyone's contribution, but intent doesn't matter when the impact is real. I understand why it hurts, and that's on me. This is a good statement. I think that this is true. And I think that intentions are important to understand, but he also recognizes intent doesn't matter when the impact is real. It's like, yes, we need to be able to recognize both. We need to be able to recognize, yeah, his intent probably wasn't that, but it was still hurtful. And I think if we can have that approach to other people in our lives and be more forgiving and aware of people's mistakes, and also aware that we're broken and we make mistakes, then we're going to be in a better world, because we can say stuff like this, like, I didn't intend to dismiss anybody, but I'm aware that it was hurtful and I understand why it was hurtful, so I'm sorry. And then in the midst of that apology, I can say, you know what? I can totally see that that probably wasn't your intent. I appreciate the apology, instead of doubling down on the toxicity that a lot of times we see. Throughout 2025, we saw creators self-organized tournaments, celebrating Royale through arts and memes, and reminding millions of people around the world why Clash Royale is special. Creators like Jynxzi returned to the game, even though I don't know if he ever created content for Clash Royale until now. I just know that he played. I know he was like really good and did tournaments and stuff. I don't know if he used to create content. That would be kind of dope to see, though. Some of those old videos, if they exist. Creators like Jynxzi returned to the game with incredible passion, investing their own time, money, and energy into bringing Clash Royale back to a cultural relevance. Yes. And introducing many new players, including some of the biggest names in streaming, to the game. That kind of love for Royale can't be taken for granted, and it deserves to be acknowledged loudly and clearly. I will say this. I don't think that a blog post is loudly and clearly. I do think that for those who read this, it is loud and clear. But if this recognition resides solely inside of a blog post, then I don't think that that's loud and clear personally. I think that there can be some other ways to do that, and I'm sure that they intend to do that. There is an idea that this is just saving face, if you will. But again, like I've said multiple times, I don't think that that's Ilka, and I'm happy that he responded. Back to my original post now, but I wanted to address this head on. Thank you to all of you. Awesome. Totally agree with that. Wait, what am I saying? What do you mean you agree to back to the original? Thank you to all of you. That's what I agree with. Everybody needs to be thanked. Now, I can see some people going over the top with responses to this. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm sure that in the comments, some people are just like taking it too far. Now, what I said in my last video was that I think Clash Royale needs a competitor. And I still stand by that, because I think competition is what creates legends. I think competition is what pushes people to levels that they couldn't have attained by themselves. And so my hope for a game that I deeply love is that there is some competition that I can take part in. I can play those other games and enjoy it, but I can also play Clash Royale. And they can box each other. They can learn from each other. They can push forward. I think we need that. Another thing that I was talking to my wife about this yesterday. I don't want to take credit away from the Clash Royale team. Have they made mistakes? Yeah. Have they made big mistakes? Yeah. Have they not listened to the community? Yeah. But have they also done good things to the best of their abilities, of their own personal abilities? Yeah, they have. And this is what I was talking to my wife about. I was like, imagine if I created like a clothing brand and Kim Kardashian wore it. Okay, I probably wouldn't create a women's clothing brand, but I created that, and I had like no sales, and I sent it to her, and she wore it and posted about it on Instagram, and then millions of people bought it. Did those millions of people buy it because of her? Yes, but did I create a good enough product that she wanted to wear and post about? Yes. And so we have to recognize that with all of its mistakes, Clash Royale is still a game that we love deeply. Clash Royale is still freaking iconic. And what I would say is probably one of, if not the best mobile games in history. Now, I do think they need a little bit of a punishment. I think that discipline is important. And I'm not saying we're their parents and we need to discipline them. But I'm saying that just because an apology is had doesn't mean that we should just move on and forget. I think that we should recognize the apology. I think that we should say, okay, cool. Now what are we going to do to listen to the community and make it better? And hey, sometimes the community can be wrong. We got to recognize that too, because all of us have different opinions. If they listened to the community all the time, Expo wouldn't be in the game, Mega Knight wouldn't be in the game, Mortar wouldn't be in the game, Hog wouldn't be in the game, Firecracker wouldn't be in the game, Golden Knight wouldn't be in the game. All of these things just wouldn't be in the game, even though some people love them and some people hate them. So they had to deal with all of these voices and figure out the best way to make their game good. And that's a part of their job. It's their responsibility to do. But I just want to end on this. My hope is that somebody comes along and has been secretly developing something, I doubt it, that makes the Clash Royale team be like, oh crap, we got to do something. And it spurs them on to dig deep and to find something in their midst that can make Clash Royale the game that we all know it is capable of being. That is my hope. I appreciate you guys listening. Listen. We can be harsh, but we need to be constructively critical. Okay? Being jerks isn't going to help. So be constructively critical, and let's hope that they listen. And if they don't, then it's on them. And literally, this is an opportunity where you could say, we told you so. But I hope that it doesn't get to that point, because I love the game. I know that you guys love the game as well. Thank you for watching. I'll continue talking about this stuff if there's any more advancements, all that kind of jazz. But yeah, love you guys. See you in the next one. Peace out.